Miguel walked in, kissed his mother, then picked up a plate and a fresh tortilla and went to the pot of beans. His clothes were covered in mud that had dried gray. "How did you get so dirty?" asked Hortensia. Miguel sat down at the table. A group of men showed up from Oklahoma. They said they would work for half the money and the railroad hired all of them. He looked into his plate and shook his head. "Some of them have never even worked on a motor before. My boss said that he didn't need me, that they were going to train the new men. He said I could dig ditches or lay tracks if I wanted." Esperanza stared at him, her floured hands in midair. "What did you do?" "Can you not tell from my clothes? I dug ditches." His voice was sharp, but he continued eating as if nothing were wrong. "Miguel, how could you agree to such a thing?" said Esperanza. Miguel raised his voice. "What would you have me do instead?" "I could have walked out, but I would have no pay for today. Those men from Oklahoma have families too. We must all work at something, or we will all starve." A temper Esperanza did not recognize raged to the surface. Then, like the irrigation pipes in the fields when the water is first turned on, her anger burst forth. "Why didn't your boss tell the others to dig ditches?" She looked at the dough she was holding in her hand and threw it at the wall. It stuck for an instant and then slowly slid down the wall, leaving a darkened trail. Isabel's serious eyes darted from Miguel to Esperanza to Hortensia. "Are we going to starve?" "No," they all answered at the same time. Esperanza's eyes were on fire. She stamped out of the cabin, slamming the door, and walked past the mulberry and the chinaberry trees to the vineyard. She hurried down a row, then cut over to another. "Esperanza!" She heard Miguel's voice in the distance, but she didn't answer. When she got to the end of one row, she moved up to another. "Anza!" She could hear him running down the rows, catching up with her. She kept her eyes on the tamarisk trees in the far distance and walked faster. Miguel eventually caught her arm and pulled her around. "What is the matter with you? Is this the better life that you left Mexico for? Is it? Nothing is right here. Isabel will certainly not be queen, no matter how badly she wants it, because she is Mexican. You cannot work on engines because you are Mexican. We have gone to work through angry crowds of our own people who threw rocks at us, and I'm afraid they might have been right. They send people back to Mexico even if they don't belong there, just for speaking up. We live in a horse stall, and none of this bothers you. Have you heard that they are building a new camp for Okies with a swimming pool? The Mexicans can only swim in it in the afternoon before they clean it. Have you heard they will be given inside toilets and hot water? Why is that?"